Alright, I think we got everything working now. Maybe. Yeah. Appears to be. Not sure. There we go. Okay. Sorry for the late start. Working out the bugs right at the last second. So basically, we're just going to go over how you can use MIDI with the artifact to just kind of turn on all the different blocks within the pedal. I will have to upload this preset after the fact. I forgot to throw it on Neuro ahead of time, but it's going to come up sounding pretty much blank because the idea is for turning on individual blocks as you're going. So we'll start in this first section. The first one I got programmed up is messing mainly with the Distortion mixer. So we'll hop over to Neuro. You can, if I can bring that up now. There we go. All right. So you can see in here we have the Distortion mixer here. So this first button, I better switch camera views here. So this first button here, you can see turns on the Distortion block, and then the other four are going to turn on individual effects within the Distortion mixer. So starting off, first one's going to be the ring mod. Second one will be Distortion. Next one's a Quantizer, I believe. I cannot see everything right now. I'm in OBS. Okay, back in here. Yeah, so second one's Quantizer. And then the last one's sample rate. And kind of the interesting thing just in here, you can use this as a sort of master bypass for the Distortion mixer. So just one thought for one way to use MIDI. So Distortion mixer just kind of seems like a good spot to start, just because of all the different combinations of things you can turn on and off within there. So it's kind of fun. I kind of forgot to go over the basic stuff. And the preset's going to come up with Option Tap. With the press and hold is going to be the vinyl skip. First I need to get a sound in there. Now, vinyl skip's one of the few things that you don't need to have any block turned on to use. So you can actually use that effect without having anything else. You don't even need the vinyl block on to use that. It's kind of a nice, interesting thing. The tap option is going to be, we'll show that later in the delay reverb section, but that's going to be for reverb hold basically. And then we just have the tap tempo switch plugged in, set for tap tempo of the main LFO for the tremolo and the ladder filter. So we can show that later when we get to it. One control up here that we got mapped that we can already show. Turn all this off first. This will control the gain level on the distortion. And I'm in the wrong window again. I'm gonna have to get better at that. Let's let's just go to the straight tabletop here. So yeah, we were messing with that. So that's one of the knob assignments to start off with. We'll go to the next preset on here. This one's mostly just all the lo-fi effects. First switch. What bank did we turn on? Okay, that turns on your signal failure block. And then the next switch turns on the vinyl noise. And that will be your noise generator. And then the next one is the old gear / EQ block down here, as you can see. And then the last one's going to turn on the compressor over here. And pretty solid compressor, so that's one that you can use as more of a traditional effect, along with the distortion section. So there's some things to be done. This is kind of the quick, just a lot of the more lo-fi and noises, and then tremolo just flowing in there since I had the extra switch. Next one, we've got mostly the modulation block in here. So that first switch will turn on, I'll bring up the window. That first switch turns on the tremolo block over in here, as you can see. And this next one will turn on the ladder filter. For the controls, depth will control the tremolo rate, or the tremolo depth. And then rate's going to control the speed of the tremolo and the ladder filter. And then we can even tap tempo that in. And then you kind of already heard it. Skipping over to that last switch over here, that's going to swap between the LFO and the envelope filter controlling the ladder filter, so you can get a nice auto wah effect. So, and then you can go right back to the LFO for it too. So kind of it was something I kind of thought of at the last second with messing with this preset, just being able to use both. Little interesting noises. And then the filter knob will control the frequency on the ladder filter. And then of course the mix is just the master mix, so you can set any level of blend for all the effects in there. And then here's, we're going to get interesting. Here's the delay reverb block. So we got two controls in here. This is programmed to the soft control to control 3 different effects, so we can get the most out of this. When the toggle switch is all the way to the left, you get a flanger. and then till about the noon position you got adjustments for that flanger that work best for it. Once you get past that, it starts getting a little crazy for flanger. And then when we move that toggle switch to the center position, we'll bring up a delay reverb, or the delay. And then as you get all the way maxed, start to get a little more reverby. And then the last position, just straight reverb. And then the last block to show will be the glitch. We'll just turn that on, and then we'll flip over to here because this is where all the controls are at. So this first button is going to latch the glitch. It's a very slow glitch. Not sure why it's not working right. That's a little better. And there we go. And the shape control is set to soft 2, which we can show some we'll just go over to the Neuro full screen here. We'll turn that mix down a little bit. So you can see there's 3 different things that's adjusting. So the first, from all the way down to about noon, is changing our loop length, as you can see. And then once you go past noon, shift mode goes to random, as you can hear. And then once you start turning a little more, you'll see the shift patterns are changing. Actually, we'll go back to the delay reverb side. Hold on, I gotta cycle back through. As I realized I didn't really show what was going on with the soft controls for that. So we'll go back over in here, scroll down to the delay reverb. So as you can see, so all the way down, we're controlling delay time, feedback, and diffusion. All the way down and set for flanger. Turn up the mix a little more. Till about that, just around 10 o'clock or so, you see we're just mostly messing with the delay time. Once we get to noon, we start introducing that feedback some. That's when you're going to get a little more prominent flanging. And then when we're set the toggle, as you can see, I'm flipping the toggle now, you see the types changing. That middle position, you get the delay. When it's minimized, it's not really doing much. And then you only got single repeat in that early, so it's good for slapback. And as you get it up there, it starts to diffuse and throw more feedback in. So then from there, you go flip to reverb on the toggle. And then it gets even more feedback and diffusion. So nice big lo-fi ambient sort of reverb sound. So that shows off that. We can go back to the glitch now. So the last two switches in there, we're just showing different loop lengths. There. So you can look at the loop length and you'll see it's changing with just pressing buttons. So you can use MIDI just to change the loop length while you're playing with the glitch. Set that to a foot switch and just make your own patterns as you're going. Using that combination of tap and hold to get the different settings with just the two switches. And then of course you can still go back to that knob. Yeah. Then over here, this switch is actually going to do the tape stop, so holding it down all the way to 0, and then release. You have some fun with that. Yeah, the last switch there is just doing a momentary glitch. So that about covers everything you can do with that. I don't know if there's any questions or thoughts. Took a long time to get this out. Like I was saying a while ago, I was trying to make this a full legit video, and then iMovie just was not cooperating with me. So Livestream seemed like the next best choice to show all this. So yeah, I used the AirStep for this. You can use about any MIDI controller you want. Morningstar, Disaster Area, whatever they'll allow to program. My personal board, I got an MC6 Pro on right now, and I've been experimenting with some super complex MIDI programming to get a lot out of the glitch functionalities and do a number of different sounds. So that's about the best example I can give of all the things you can do with MIDI and squeezing a little more out of it. I could do another video maybe later showing off with the MC6 Pro and how I kind of use it in my own personal rig. A lot more I've kind of set up all my presets so I can run the glitch from any of the sounds, whether it's set up mainly for modulation or some lo-fi stuff or delay. I can still be able to turn on the glitch and go back to the preset settings if I needed to on the fly. So a lot of stuff that can be done with MIDI to get the most out of this pedal. But yeah, that's